Welcome back to Game Plan Monday, friends. I'm sure some of you missed me last week, and if you didn't, then that's okay. But I'm hoping that I can start to get things back together around my world. I don't know about the rest of you, but January felt like it lasted 947 days. And honestly, it was one of the hardest months that I've had on a personal level. And here's the part that I really want to say out loud. My personal life and the things I had going on absolutely affected how I showed up for my business. So if you are in that same position where you're like, I feel like I am so far behind, things were not what I had anticipated for 2026, I am right there with you, friends. And we're going to talk about recognizing, reflecting, noticing, resetting, and really recharging ourselves to go into the next month. And that's really what I've had to spend a lot of time thinking about, gearing up for this week's Work It Wednesday and getting back together with my life. So before we touch on February, which we are now 2 days in, we need to take some time to look at the last one. And when we do that, we need to take some notice of the data that we've collected. This is not an opportunity for you to judge yourself because that is not what it is about, but it does help us answer a couple of questions about what we've experienced. One, what worked even when things were hard? So for me, one of the things that I noticed, even though I wasn't planning in that particular moment, was that journaling was really helpful for me to keep my brain from feeling extremely overloaded and allowing me to have space to breathe, even though I wasn't doing the things for my business that I wanted to be doing. What didn't work and why? I had a large list of things that I needed to continue. I was working on my 75 plan challenge, which is one that I am trying to get back into. And that's the one thing that I love about the 75 plan challenge is that you do not have to do it every single day. You just show up. You show up when you feel like you can show up. That means that my 75 plan challenge is going to take me beyond the middle of March, which is what I had anticipated because today I'm starting and it's going to be day number 27. So, or day number 28. I can't even remember what day I'm on, but it's recognizing that it's okay to start over. It's okay to re-enter into the process. It's okay to feel like you are not quite sure what you want to do. And that's what taking time for reflection is all about. And then the next thing that we want to recognize is, what do we want to take forward with us? Well, I'm still taking my 75 plan challenge with me because it has served me. And I know it has served others. And I know that it has brought other people great peace and great joy and helping them to get where they want to go. So what deserves to come with you into February? This is exactly why we spend time building reflection into our planning system, not as an afterthought, but as something that we need to do every single week, at least daily if you can do it daily, but at least once a month. So I grabbed a couple of assets that I have that I wanted to share with you that I use for my own personal reflection. So the first one is the Rest and Reflect insert. So I do not actually use this insert because I am a journal base. And so I use kind of a bullet journal and I write my things in my bullet journal. But the questions that I use are very much from this insert. If you are an insert planner, fantastic. This will be a great asset for you to add into your planning system. So what it does is it has, number one, a coloring page for you to utilize. But then on the other side, it has a couple of questions. I'm going to read those questions to you. The first one is about wins and gratitude. Name 3 things that went right this week. Then you're going to talk about your emotions and energy, what drained you and what gave you energy and joy. So both sides of the spectrum. The third part is systems and self-care. How did you take care of yourself this week? What I like to do for that one specifically is do a bullet list and just write the things that I spent time doing for myself. Reading a book, coloring, journaling, taking a bath, going for a walk, listening to music, whatever it was that I did specifically for me to get me back into some normalcy, that's what I put there. The next section says learning and growth. What surprised me this week? Sometimes it's the people that I have interactions with. Sometimes it's the world we live in, which that's a lot of times right now. Sometimes it is work. Sometimes it's a customer base. Sometimes it's a teammate. whatever the case may be, what is it that surprised you this week? The next thing is productivity and goals. So this one is really, and it actually has some of the most space in this whole reflection. This is where you're going to make the majority of your changes or tweaks for the next week. So what did I complete that I had planned? When you're writing those things, I want you to notice, what is it that made it possible for you to get those things done? Was it your time management strategy? Was it your willingness to turn off your phone and not do anything except for work on what you were working on? And then the second question is, what didn't get done and why? So this is, again, not a judgment. This is a, hey, this happened to me and I didn't get any planning done. If I were to answer these questions from last week, I would definitely say personal, family, life happened, because that's all I can put right there. And that is why it didn't get done. And pretty much my entire list. In fact, I don't think I even made a planning list last week because I was that much just trying to get up and do the things. And then the last thing in this insert is looking ahead, something that you're excited about. So taking some time to really reflect on that and to think about what it is that you did, what you didn't do, why didn't you get it done, or why did you get it done? And again, no judgment. We're not going to judge ourselves for not completing the things. We're just going to take notice of what it is that we saw happening and then reflect on that. And how can we do better next time? Or what can we drop because we don't really need it? We thought it was a priority, but it wasn't really a priority. And then one of the other things that I utilize, and this is part of my membership group, is we do what's called an effort filter on our word of the year. So what this is this a bookmark that I put, it's on sticker paper, and I just put it in my journal and I answer these questions. First of all, I put my word of the year in the box because right now it hasn't changed. We're going to leave it right there. So I write my word of the year in the box, and then I ask myself 4 or 5 questions. The first one is, does this word fit my real life right now? Take some time to reflect. Is the word that you chose for the word of your year still fitting who you are and what you want to accomplish? Does this word help me decide what matters today? Are you using this as an opportunity to build your task list based on where you want to be in regards to your word of the year and why you chose it? The next one is feeling. When I think about this word, I feel ... Do you feel frustrated by it because things aren't going the way that you want them to go? Do you feel energized by your word and you're like, yes, I can do these things? The next one is your future. Does this word support who I'm becoming? So if you are still focused on that word, is it still helping you to move towards that? And then the last 2 questions are very, very simple. The first one is a yes or no. Did I honor my word this week? Yes or no? And then one way I can realign next week. And these are all just a great way for you to just, I just slap it in my journal and I answer these questions truthfully and honestly and allow myself to really recognize whether or not I am building to my potential. And that's really the tools that I use for daily reflection. So what I want you guys to think about here is going through some of those questions that I talked about. One of the things that I mentioned are the first 3, which are name 3 things that went right this week. So I would love to hear in the comments, what are 3 things for you that have gone right this week? Did you show up even when you didn't feel like it? Did you work on doing a small habit and are you being consistent with it? Did you not quit what you said you were going to do? Maybe you protected your energy when you needed to. Maybe you just said, I need to just take some time for me. That for you, my friends, is a win. And then once you take time to write those wins down, ask yourself, what helped those wins happen? How did you make those things happen? Was it a tool that you used? Was it a boundary that you set? Was it a routine that you have in place? Maybe you're having a little mindset shift and you want to recognize that. And then just think for just a minute, friends, what's one thing that you can take into February that might be a small shift from what you did in January? And I would love to hear what those are for you in the comments. I would love to know what it is that is helping you to build into this next month. You don't have to do more. You just have to be able to notice what's working, what's not working, and then make the small tweaks. I'm not saying throw out everything that you did last month, because I certainly cannot do that. I cannot simply throw out everything that I've been working towards. But what I can do is celebrate the wins that I had last week and in the last month, and choose some gentle ways that I can make shifts in my planning so that I can be better next month with what I want to accomplish. Hope you all have a fantastic Monday, friends, and I'll see you all very soon.